Nigel Farage, the leader of Reform UK, says he's never directly racially abused anybody.
No one died.
Okay, so the leader of Reform UK, Nigel Farage, has come out and somewhat sheepishly denied the accusations of the capital crime of having made some edgy, racist remarks to his classmates 49 to 50 years ago, aged about 12 or 13.
At school, categorically on the record, you did not racially abuse fellow pupils.
I would never, ever do it in a hurtful or insulting way.
In 1975, no one died.
That's not quite the same as not doing it.
It's 49 years ago. It's 49 years ago.
What difference is it? What difference to the time?
Isn't it? Well, I just entered my teens.
Nearly 40 years. And in all that time, I only slipped up once.
Now, don't misinterpret me. My problem here isn't the racism. It never is it, Danny? My problem is the as I said, the sheepish response from Nigel Farage. If somebody dared accuse me of anything from my school days, right, just you come at me.
I want a lawsuit! I want a f***ing lawsuit right now, motherfucker!
There would be hell to pay, and lawyers.
It's 49 years ago. It's 49 years ago.
What difference is it? What difference to the time?
Isn't it? Well, I just entered my teens. Can I remember everything that happened at school? No, I can't.
In 1980, someone died.
Okay, people, so this is no laughing matter, all right? This is very serious. We're going to get to the bottom of exactly what it is Nigel stands accused of having done back in the mid-70s as a very small, surely very cute little schoolboy. But possibly a racist, very cute schoolboy. We're going to have a look at the victim's testimony. And then we'll make a decision based on all the evidence. We're going to decide whether, in fact, we have to condemn Nigel Farage or if it's time to re-traumatize these little spazzes all over again.
Hi.
What's wrong, kid?
I just got bullied for being gay.
Oh, yeah? What's about to happen again?
Who's Daniel Boland? Oh, Daniel Boland, this is a heavy hitter. Do you guys know who this is?
Nigel Farage, the leader of Reform UK, says he's never directly racially abused anybody. It follows allegations in the Guardian newspaper that he was racist and anti-Semitic towards pupils while at school. Well, Joe Pike is live at Westminster for us. Joe, what's the background to all this?
Clive, more than a dozen former pupils told The Guardian they witnessed offensive behaviour from Nigel Farage when he was at Dulwich College in South London in the late 1970s and early 1980s.
Okay, so for those of you who've been following me long enough, you will know that I do not approach any topic with an open mind, okay? I'm very cynical, sceptical. That's just how I approach everything in life. That's how I approach breakfast, you know? Oh, you did leave some coffee for me, isn't that? That's a nice, not so difficult, is it? A bit selfish. So that's how I approach this story, I saw Nigel Farage had been accused of being racist 40 or 50 years ago when he was a teenager. And I initially thought, okay, all right. However, I have to say, you're going to have to allow me to work this out as the video goes on, because it's a little bit more nuanced than that. A Guardian investigator has been sleuthing around and interviewing ex-classmates of Nigel's, and some of their testimonies, let's just say, even if the accusations are 40 or 50 years old, don't exactly paint Nigel in the best of lights.
One Jewish pupil said he was targeted by Mr. Farage, and Mr. Farage would tell him Hitler was right and gas them.
Wow. Shameful.
Another pupil who is non-white said he was targeted and told to go back where he'd come from.
Okay, so I guess we can all agree, to a greater or lesser extent, that those are not very nice things to say to your classmates, are they? But I suppose what we've got to do in today's video are two things, really. First of all, get to the bottom of whether or not we believe these accusations, you know, so we're going to take a look at some of the testimonies of former classmates of Nigel's, and then secondly, I guess, work out whether or not we care. I mean, how much does this being true, that Nigel Farage was a bit racist, a bit of a bully perhaps at school, how much does that inform us or change our opinion in any way of Nigel Farage, the man today, 50 years later? I'll let you guys be the judge. Let's take a look at some of these testimonies.
Peter Etterdew is one of those who says Mr. Farage racially abused him at school.
Peter what a Jew?
Peter Etterdew.
Etterdew? That can't be the correct pronunciation. The guy's Jewish and his surname is Etterdew. That's Ettergy or something. Sparrowhawk here is re-traumatising poor old Peter Ettergy all over again.
You naughty little Sparrowhawk.
Peter Etterdew. If you were his parents, you would tell him that his surname is pronounced Ettergy, surely, or whatever. You wouldn't send your child to school, a Jew, saying, tell everyone your name is Peter Etterdew. It's impossible. I want to bully him now. What chance has he got?
He spoke to the BBC's Joe Pike today.
Most vivid memories of my school life is Farage repeatedly coming up to me and knowing that I was Jewish, saying Hitler was right and Gassam.
Okay, as strange as that might sound to some people, I don't think that's entirely implausible, that Nigel Farage was a bit of a pain in the arse as a kid. Aged 12, 13, 14, who wasn't, you know? I can certainly remember myself being quite overtly hostile to people I had the remotest dislike for around that age, you know? And I don't think any of it was racist on my part. Prove me wrong, people, but be careful, I'm litigious. Very litigious. Now, racism wouldn't have flown back in the noughties when I was at high school in Notre Dame. Wasn't in vogue. And but I was certainly nasty to other kids. You know? And I can see Nigel Farage at a public school in the late 70s, early 80s doing that, being nasty, bullying other kids. Now, having said all that, as distasteful as that might be, I have a limited empathy for a man in his 60s choking up as he recounts how Nigel Farage made some Hitler jokes back in the 70s or 80s. You're a man, you're in your 60s, I don't know, get it together. I mean, did he beat your head? Like, did he smash your face in? Did he, like traumatise you properly? Otherwise, maybe the puffy-eyed interviews, it's not very becoming of a man, you know? I'm sorry to bully you again, Mr. Etterdew, but it's not nice, okay? I don't want my kids bullying other kids. I don't want my kids to be bullied. I'm not proud of being nasty to other kids at school myself. I didn't like it when other kids were nasty to me, whenever they dared. But it's... this isn't... You know, I mean, we're just taking his word for it. If it happened, okay, not nice, but maybe we could move on 45 years on.
And that was frequently followed by us, you know, kind of imitating the sound of escaping gas. As the grandchild of a couple who had escaped from Hitler and Nazi Germany, but whose families left behind had perished in the Holocaust, you know, this was extremely wounding and upsetting.
Now, this might sound harsh, but that is kind of the point of bullying. You identify the weak spot that somebody has, the thing that's going to trigger them most, and you go for it, and you see how they react. And I'm not condoning bullying exactly, certainly not racist bullying. Daniel Boland does not support bullying people according to their immutable characteristics, okay? Never. However...
Are they telling the truth?
No, they're not telling the truth.
How do you feel watching that?
Very gaslit, I would imagine. The gaslighting is off the charts from Nigel Farage there. Look, I don't know, maybe... I sometimes think these people, they implant the memories, you know, that's, and how do you defend yourself against these accusations? That's why I like to keep this YouTube channel as niche as possible, okay? I don't want anybody remembering me from my past. Imagine if we get really big here and The Guardian run round investigating the people of Sheffield. They start interviewing Kyle Walker. Daniel Boland made fun of my gay voice. No, I didn't. I never said anything about your gay voice, Kyle. We never met.
I've never directly racially abused anybody, no.
So, according to The Guardian's investigation, around 20 people do allege that he has a racist past, Nigel Farage, and here are some of the things they quoted. Peter Etterdew, who we just heard from, said that as well as the anti-Semitism directed at him, he also heard Nigel attacking other minorities with words such as this one and that one. A fellow classmate, Anthony Butler, corroborates Peter's stories and says that he recalls Farage hectoring and bullying Etterdew with shouts of, well, what that says there, and that Nigel Farage was a physical coward who could have easily been silenced. A third classmate, Jean-Pierre, recalls Farage's anti-Semitism and how he would even adapt George Formby songs with some creative new lyrics. And on and on go the anecdotes from several more ex-pupils and even teachers that knew Farage back in the late 70s, early 80s, that all seem to paint a picture of a bit of a strange kid who spent a lot of time walking around school and singing racist songs, singling out Pakistani kids for detention as a prefect, and all kinds of odd stuff.
Have I ever misspoken in my life, in my younger days when I was a child? Probably.
Are they telling the truth, Mr.
Well,
Farage?
suddenly after 49 years, they seem to have perfect recollection. I would say to you, there is a strong political element to this.
Okay, again, a slightly different answer to the question. Are they telling the truth?
No, they're not telling the truth.
Look, based on Nigel's response and all of the many accusations corroborating one another, politically motivated though they may be, soppy in tone, it seems like there is a distinct possibility that Nigel Farage as a teenager was a bit of a racist edgelord. But look at him now, he's adorable.
Have I ever been part of an extremist organisation or engaged in direct, unpleasant personal abuse, genuine abuse, on that basis? No.
You're not quite, that's very, very caveated. You're not quite ruling this out. The question is, did you ever racially abuse fellow pupils in school?
No.
You've caveated
Not
it
with
with a
intent.
hurtful way.
Not with intent.
What do you mean, what do you mean not with intent?
told-
I don't understand what you mean by not with
well,
intent.
you
What does
wouldn't
that mean?
You wouldn't do.
But what does that mean?
No.
No what?
No. I have never directly really tried to go and hurt anybody.
Oh. You know, I can't help it. Look, sue me. I've got a little bit of a soft spot for Nigel Farage. Yeah, what a big surprise, Danny, you massive racist. But look, I'm just saying, in all seriousness, he looks, look at his puppy dog face. You know, he knows he's been bad, and he's sorry, okay? And I can't... If you know anything about Nigel Farage, you know, he's a bit of a history buff. He's gone against the grain politically for the last 20, 30 years, really. He's had to endure being called a racist, and something tells me that to do the things he does, you have to be a little bit crazy. You know, a little bit like on the spectrum. Now, I know that's never an excuse for bad behaviour, but when you're a kid, being all edgy and saying hurtful things to people is often, I think, a symptom of not really knowing the effect of your words. And I don't think that is the man Nigel is today. It just doesn't help that he spent the last 30 years obsessing over the borders and illegal immigration. It's not a good look if he spent his teenage years racially abusing his classmates. How am I defending this? I'm trying to defend it. I don't think that's who he is. Honestly, I don't. I don't think he's a vile racist. I think he was probably quite an odd kid. That's highly probable. And that was his way of seeking attention, probably. There's an element of vanaglorious narcissism in anyone who gets into politics, isn't there? But, it takes balls to be a it takes balls to be Nigel Farage. I mean, he's had 25, 30 years of people calling him Hitler, basically. When, I don't know, the things I've heard him say, I've never thought it sounded racist. The things that I've heard him say publicly. It sounded mostly reasonable, certainly something within the realms of reason. Wanting to control the borders, wanting to reduce government spending. I don't know. Now, the big question that's getting swept under the rug is he a Russian sleeper agent?
Nathan Gill, Reform's former leader in Wales, has been sentenced to more than 10 years in prison for taking bribes from Russia. We should call that what it is, treason.
I was, however, somewhat surprised to hear Keir Starmer calling for an investigation that's clearly long overdue. I was very surprised to hear who he was calling upon to conduct an investigation. I've had a bit of trouble with the clips lately. I don't know why, so hopefully this is the correct clip.
We directly encouraged the uprising in the Ukraine that led to the toppling of the president, Yanukovych, and that led, of course, in turn to Vladimir Putin reacting. And the moral of the story is if you poke the Russian bear with a stick, don't be surprised when he reacts.
No, sorry, that wasn't a clip of Keir Starmer calling for an investigation into Russian interference. That was Nigel Farage parroting Kremlin propaganda in the European Parliament.
But in particular, it's a big victory for Nathan Gill, our leader in Wales, an honest, decent, honourable man who's been loyal to me and the party at all times. Nathan, you've led UKIP Wales into this, and well done, you.
Sorry. Right. That was a man who has not been found to have taken bribes from the Kremlin in return for parroting Kremlin propaganda in the European Parliament and on various media outlets, talking about a man who has been sent to jail for taking bribes from a Kremlin stooge, just to be absolutely clear.
James, you snide. Wrong clip there. Sorry about that. must have got my clips mixed up there. Very droll.
Will you instigate an investigation in your party to see if there is any other pro-Russian influence?
We are not a police force. Should there be...
You are the leader of the party, though.
Yes, and if you listen, I'll tell you what I think. I think given, we've seen the Nathan Gill case, given since then we've learnt that a Labour MP took £500,000 for his office costs and campaigning costs from a now known Chinese agent, is there a problem through British politics? There is. Is it extensive? I doubt it, but I don't know. Should we ask somebody with actual authority to investigate it? Yes.
So would you support calls then for a UK-wide investigation?
I think that's right, and I think there are doubts on all sides right at the moment. So yes, that would be a good thing to do.
But you're not going to instigate that investigation
I'm
yourself as party leader. But you are party leader.
Yeah, I haven't got a police force. I haven't got access. I can't access your phone messages. I can't access your emails. Unless I can do that, I can't investigate. You've got to have somebody with investigatory powers.
What questions have you personally asked of people in your party?
Well, I've asked everybody, have you ever taken money you shouldn't have taken from anybody? And no one said yes.
Okay, and is that good enough for you? You're taking them at face value?
And what do you think Keir Starmer's doing? And what do you think Kemi Badenoch's doing?
Okay, but this question is for you. Those are questions for them on a different
I
day.
am not a police officer. I cannot access emails or phone messages. I can't investigate other than asking people. And I would point out to you that this is an embarrassment for UKIP. It's a very minor embarrassment for Reform.
Well, he was party leader in Wales.
For how many weeks?
Well, you're still party leader. That's irrelevant.
For a very brief period of time. He's not been with us for a very, very long time.
Well, I'm satisfied with that. They're slowly but surely rooting out all of the Chinese and Russian sleeper agents throughout British politics. There will be no more treason, okay? We'll be fine. We've learnt a lot today. We've learnt that though racism is bad and Nigel Farage possibly was a bit racist as a teenager, it might be down to the fact that I have diagnosed him with mild spectrum dwelling, you know? And what else have we learned? Don't take bribes from Russia or anyone. You know, you don't want to end up like Nick Gill in The Slammer. Is treason worth it? It's never worth it. What else? Don't poke Russian bears. You know, we shouldn't have been meddling in it. Oh, no. Don't want to alienate anyone else on this channel. If you've enjoyed any part of this video, I've enjoyed several parts. Give the video a like. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Let me know what you think in the comments about all of this nonsense. And what else? Follow me on X and on Instagram to know when I bring out a new video. Join my Patreon if you want to get some access to some exclusive videos and help out with the channel a little bit more. We're going to be making loads of videos over the next few days on Patreon. And I'll keep saying that, but I'm doing it. The first one's coming out tonight, I promise. And I'm going to be trying to put daily videos up on Patreon, so it's going to be worth it. Anyway, what else? Nothing else, I guess. I'll leave you with the outro. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Santa for Christmas.
Oh, that's a nice one. I asked Santa for Christmas, peace on the world, health.